Hi friends, welcome back to This Beaded Life. So today kicks off the week of gift making. So we are making intentional from the heart gifts today, and I don't want to leave out men. So today we're making 2 men's bracelets. But here's the kicker. This design can be done for women too. And it's going to be gemstone, so it's going to be really nice quality product. And we're doing it on leather, and we're not doing a clasp. We're doing a leather sliding knot on this bracelet, so it will fit everyone. All right, so if you guys are excited and intrigued, let's turn around and go to the table and make them. I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, so I don't want this to sound intimidating because it's not, and I want you to I want to show you the bracelet I just whipped up just now, just so I can make sure I'm practicing my knot. So here's my knot. And my knot looks a little like not perfect, but it's okay. It looks rustic. And both sides slide so that you can tighten it around your wrist, or you can open it all the way, and look how much room I have to get that on and off, okay? And I made this using the exact same measurements that we are using today for the men's bracelet. So this is the one I made for myself. Really cute, right? And you can bead as little or as much as you want, depending on who you're giving it to. Some people are very minimalist and they just might want one little bead and they'd be like thrilled with that. Some people want a full bracelet. So we're gonna do a little bit of both. We're gonna do one that's gonna be not full of beads, but it's gonna have some great gemstones and some really nice, cool looking spacers. And then one that is gonna be full of gemstones and some spacers. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just gonna leave this little guy sitting right here so we can look at her as an example. So yes, this can be duplicated for women. Maybe if you're gift giving to a couple, you can make the identical ones for them, like little, his and her friendship bracelets. That would be really fun. So the first thing I wanna show you what we have is we have some 1mm leather cord. I have a piece that's going to be for the bracelet itself. Is cut at 14 inches. So 14 inches around, or if you want to say more like 12 inches around, that's big enough to fit over pretty much anybody's hand, right? So we're good there. And then the other piece that you're going to need to finish that bracelet is another piece of 1mm leather cord cut at 7 inches. So you have 14 and 7. I will make sure these instructions are in the notes as well, in case you need to refer back to it. And for this bracelet, we are going to be using some rainbow obsidian. I've already tested, I think most of these will fit through my 1mm cord. And I have some spacers. So this one will not have little dangly beads at the end. This one will be just knots. And I will show you a couple different options. So this one I left 4 knots on it. This one I'm only going to leave 2, and I'll show you that. So you have options with this. All right, so we're going to take our little 7-inch piece of leather and put it off to the side. And if you're curious, I got my leather at Sam's Bead Shop. I'd have to check to see if they're still like carrying it there, but it came on a spool, and I got it during one of their live sales. But it's really nice leather, really soft, really supple, very durable. So, and my rainbow obsidian also came from Sam's Bead Shop. Unsure where the spacers came from. I think I've had them for some time. So let's start making our bracelet. The first thing I want to do is I want to put on my rainbow obsidian. And you may have to trim your little corner of your leather to kind of make it almost like a point. Sometimes it'll fit through some gemstones, sometimes it won't. I tested a few of these and it fit through most, so I think it's going to work. And I chose blue leather just because I felt like it might be easier for you guys to see like the difference between the leather and the beads. And let me get my light adjusted here. I think think maybe we're having some lighting issues lately. I have to look into that. All right, and then I'm going to put a spacer here, one of these really cool little twisty spacers. We're going to do another bead. So we're giving some well thought out, high quality gifts that you can make from, I'm thinking most of you have most of these supplies. You know, you may have to, you know, I know you have beads, you may not have the exact same beads. You may have to get online and order yourself some 1mm leather cord. There's a few places I can recommend. There's a place on Etsy that I've gotten leather cord, although lately their cord has seemed to be very stiff and I haven't been real happy with them. But USA Leather is fantastic. If Sam's Bead Shop is still carrying the leather, they are fantastic. So I will link you to both of those sites. All right. So I think this is about as far as we're going to go with this one. We're going to make this one a little bit like less beady, and I just think it would look good. All right. So there is our rainbow obsidian and our spacers. I think those spacers look really, really cool with this. So I'm going to just move my rainbow obsidian off to the side. We are going to make a small knot on either end of this leather. Okay, just like this. Just a little overhand knot right down towards, oh, you know what? First we want to do, I'm so sorry. I'm losing my mind. First thing we want to do is we want to make our knot down here because we don't want these sliding all over the place, all right? Sorry if I just shook the camera. So I'm going to clip off, or, you know, just kind of hang on to one side of it like so. And let's do the knot here. I just didn't want my beads sliding everywhere. First, we're going to do one little overhand simple knot and just slide it down to the beads, okay? There it is, one little simple knot. So now that side is knotted, we can take this little guy off and we can do the other side. So one little simple overhand knot and just slide it right up to the bead. Okay, I have a little bit of breathing room between, which is good because it'll go around a wrist really nice. And we don't mind that little peak of blue here and there. It just adds to the design, I think. So now we can go down to the ends and let's just tie a real little simple overhand knot. Just right down at the end here. Just like that, we're just securing the end. So super simple, right? So far, so good. We're doing okay, you guys. All right, so let's go over what we've done so far. We've strung on our 14-inch piece of 1mm leather. We strung on the beads that we wanted. We stopped where we wanted. We did an overhand knot at the end of each side, okay? Then we went down to the ends of our bracelet and we just put a little simple knot there, just so that when we make our loop or knot for the slider, it won't pop through, won't slide through, okay? Just like I did here. See? All right. Now let's go for the little more challenging part. And I know my fingers and stuff will be in the way, and I do apologize. That's why I'm making two, because hopefully what I tell you and what I show you, you will be able to get into bracelets. All right, so I have both pieces of my leather, and I just brought the knots down to both ends like this, okay? Don't worry that that's not gonna be big enough, because it is, because we're making just a small knot right here with this piece. So you're only taking up like a centimeter of space, all right? Important thing to make sure that both sides slide very easily. Try your hardest to not cross your strands, okay? Try to keep them together. And I'm holding my bracelet in my non-dominant hand. And this you're gonna have to play around with. And yes, you may have to practice a few times. I know I did, because you kind of get like you wish you had more fingers. All right, so then you take your short strand. I'm holding the loop part in my non-dominant hand, which is my left hand. And I have the long part in my right hand, which is my dominant hand. And we're just making this little loop here, right? We want one long, one short, and that's what we have. We're going to take our loop, we're going to lay it on top of both of our strands to our bracelet, okay? Hanging on to now you're hanging on to 4 strands, and you have your long one in your dominant hand. You may have to reposition yourself, and I'm going to take, sorry, going the wrong way, away from yourself, coming back towards yourself. You're going to do loops going toward your dominant hand, okay? So going towards this way, going towards your dominant hand, the one that's actually doing the looping. And you want to keep these loops a little bit loose. Now you can make this knot as, you know, like I recommend no smaller than 3 rounds. I did 4. Once you get here, still hanging on to all 4 of your threads, because you do not want the 2 bottom ones to cross, and you want that loop to stay right where it is. And you want this little piece that from your loop sticking out, and you want the other part of your bracelet sticking out. You're going to take the part that you were wrapping, and you're going to slide it through those loops. It's a little bit tricky, but you can get it. You just got to take your time and maybe use your other thumb to help push it along. And eventually it will pop through the other side. So let's just, don't get discouraged and just take your time. And don't worry, we're going to do this knot again on another bracelet. This is the part that takes a minute because you have to get it through your loops. Just take your time and see, eventually it rears its little head out right there. And I'm just going to take my loop that my end I was pushing through, and I'm just going to try to finish pushing it through a little bit more to tighten up that end. And you see how it came out a little bit more? All right, so now we're here, and we have our short part of our loop that we laid on top of our bracelet, and we have the other part that we stuck through our loops. Those are the 2 that are going to make the knot. So we're just going to slowly, and it may look a little funky at first, but just slowly pull on both of those. All right, you can adjust your knot with your fingers. This one looks a lot better than the other one I made. And there we go. Okay, now we have our knot, and you can just tighten it, but not overly tight because you do want the other 2 pieces to slide. Now here are the ends to our bracelet, and that side slides, this side slides. And you can slide it all the way back out, and it's not going to go anywhere because you have those knots. So now, because this one is very minimal, I do want to maybe just get rid of the 2 parts to our knot. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to make a very small overhand knot right here by our barrel knot. Don't go over your strand, just do only the piece that helped make your knot, okay? Don't go over your bracelet strand. And just make a little knot right there. We're just going to try to hide it a little bit. It's not going to be perfect by any means, but it's going to hide that. So now that you have that, you can snip this off and it'll hold. It's not going anywhere, I can promise you. All right, now, and we can do the same thing on this one. Just a little tiny knot. And I just want to make sure I don't get this caught up in any of my other strands that I have going on here, because then my slider will not work properly. And just scooting that knot down there, and just kind of hiding it. See, it just kind of hides there. You can see them, but it's not a big deal, right? Cut that little piece off. And then now you have your sliding bracelet. And just for grins and giggles, let's put it on and you can see how it works. This is where you need someone else's hand. So I just used my mouth. All right, so there's our bracelet. And you can always just like scoot it with your fingers and slide it, adjust it to center it. And there we go. There's our bracelet. Looks really nice, right? Okay, so there's bracelet number 1. One moment and we'll do bracelet number 2. Okay, coffee break. 1 second, guys. This is my Thursday, Friday off that I have before the weekend. I took my last 2 vacation days and I wanted to get my gift giving series done this week. So, good coffee. All right. Now we have our Imperial Jasper, and I just pulled a few spacers that match it. I wanted to do rondelles on this one. We're going to just kind of sporadically put in our spacers. All right, this one we'll put some beads at the end. So this is what we're going to do. We have still our 14-inch strand of our leather, 1 millimeter leather. You can use larger leather as long as your beads allow it. So we're going to just slide these on. Like these beads would take 1.5, maybe 2 millimeter leather. These are Imperial Jasper beads that I got at Michael's a long time ago. They probably still have them. Imperial Jasper is, kind of a popular gemstone. So I'm going to string on those 5. But again, any beads that you currently have, you can use for this project as long as they fit through your leather. That is what's so wonderful about this. Just trim that off a little bit. And I believe these spacers came from Beadbox Bargains. And I think I've had them for a little while. They're just like little basket weavy looking knots. And I thought they would look really cool with this Imperial Jasper. So this is like not a one vendor project. This is being used, like I'm using all my stash, right? I'm using my stash for this. And then let's do 4 on the other side of our 5 and a spacer. Okay. And then let's do the same thing on this side. For Imperial Jasper and our spacer. Again, if you wanted to do his and her bracelets, you absolutely can. This is like a really fun gift idea. It's also great if you work in an office and you work with some gentlemen. Maybe you don't know what to get them, and maybe another pair of utility pliers probably isn't going to cut it. So this is something you can give them, and they'd be happy to wear it because they're very handsome. I think they're very nice bracelets. They're easy to take care of. They don't have to worry too much. And it's high quality. I mean, if you look at it, these look like a lot. These look really great. And there are things that you would find in a men's like boutique shop. I shouldn't say boutique, but like a men's shop. Like we have a really nice high-end barber and men's shop downtown, and I could see these being there, like, part of the men's jewelry. All right, so now I'm doing 3 and we'll do our spacer. Maybe. Some of the spacers are a little bit tricky. They do fit, but they get caught up inside because they're like kind of hollowish inside. Let's try another one. okay. Of course, like, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, a couple of them fit, so they're all gonna go on just fine. Let me grab a different, I have like a really sharp pair of cutters here, and let's really cut this piece at an angle. Let's see if I can get it out of my container. All right, so now I got a sharp pointy angle. Oh, I can hear Cheeto once in. He wants in because his sister's in here with me and I'm in here and I'm doing stuff, and he wants to come in and go out and come in and go out. That's what he likes to do, but I'll let him in. Let me grab onto that real quick with my pliers. Maybe I can pull it through. Why is this one going to be a struggle? And I'm not giving up because I really want to use these spacers. I might have to give up, you guys. Oh, nope, there we go. It heard me. All right. So then on this end, we'll do the same thing. We'll do 3. Hold on one second. Let me let Cheeto in. Cheeto, you want to come in? Just leave the door propped open a little. All right, I'm going to cut that one a little bit sharper. We'll do our 3 Imperial Jasper on the side. My house is so quiet right now. It's like unbelievable. I mean, I have the noise from the animals, but that's really it. All right, so let's see. I want to see where I'm at with this bracelet. Even though I know it's not for me. Like, I just still want to practice it on my wrist. The rest, we are doing all Imperial Jasper. I want to save 2 of these for my ending. So let's just string on, like, let's do 4 and see where we're at. What are you doing? Are you playing in your toy box? They have like a little basket in here that has some of their toys, and they like to get into it and play. Let's do like, I don't know, let's do 3 or 2 more on each side and we should be good. We can call it good. It doesn't have to be 100% beads all the way around. All right, so Woody, we have 6 and 6. Okay. Why are you, oh, he's licking his, he found his favorite catnip toy. It has like, it's handmade. I found it downtown, Kalamazoo. One of the shops I love to go to has some like cat and dog toys. It has a picture of a cat with braids and a guitar, and it's like a little pillow, and it says Kitty Nelson. It's so funny. All right, and it's full of catnip. He loves catnip. All right, so now we're gonna make our simple knot right here. And just push that knot up against our beads just so it doesn't slide anywhere. Whoops, sorry guys. I was closing the door and I hit the desk. All right. And our other simple knot. Now our beads are not going to go anywhere at all. So we can just shove those off to the side, and we're going to do our little knot. Whoop. We're going to put our little bead on first. Is it going to really be like that? The last 2 beads. Maybe I'll just do a little Imperial Jasper one then, if it wants to be like that. And we'll do our little simple overhand knot right down here at the bottom to give our beads somewhere to go. Okay, that's where our bead's gonna be. Do the same thing on this side. Little teeny tiny knot. And we're going to go through our barrel knot slider one more time here. All right, so now we have our bracelet in my non-dominant hand. It's in my left hand. And I'm making sure my strands are not crossed here in the middle. Giving myself plenty of space to work on, okay? Just kind of switching it up, making sure I can find a place where I'm comfortable. And usually this is about where I want to be. And you can even hold it like this between your fingers, just to kind of keep it steady for a minute. And you want your shorter strand, your 7-inch strand, you're going to make this loop, right? So here's your loop, and you have a long strand of your loop, and you have a short strand for your loop. You're gonna lay that loop on top of your 2 strands for your bracelet. Okay, there's your little short loop, your short strand. Here's your long strand in your dominant hand, and you're going to go behind and come towards you. I recommend 3 to 4 to 5 times, making your loops around all 4 of those pieces, right? Because you're going over 4 pieces now. Okay, do you see what I have going on here? I know it's really hard to see, but hopefully you can understand what I'm doing by talking you through it too. So here's our 4th time around, and I think we're gonna end there. And you can play this by ear. Like I said, you can do 3, 4, 5. You can cut this a little bit longer and do like 6 or 7. All you would need to do is maybe add another inch or 2. Now I'm taking the one that I used to wrap around all 4 strands, and I'm putting it through those loops. Now remember, this is going to take you a second, because those loops, you want to try to keep them loose enough that you can put your strand through, but tight enough that they're not going to go all like cattywampus on you, okay? So trying to just poke that through, and it takes a second. Use your other fingers to help it along if you need to, but just carefully put that through. Mine wants to be a little bit of a stinker right now. Doesn't want to go through that second one. You can loosen it up a little bit, but try really hard not to lose the integrity of your wrap. And if you get stuck, start it over. It doesn't take long. Start that part over. Sometimes I get overzealous and I forget that I'm doing this and I need to slide something through, and I make my wraps a little bit too tight. And the only thing you don't want to do is, once you let go of everything, it kind of goes, you just pretty much will need to start over, because it's going to be messy and hard to recover from. Okay, so there's my other piece finally popping through. All right, so now here is the end to my knot, and here is the other end to my knot. We're going to grab both of those and just carefully start pulling. You're going to pull that loop through, right? And just carefully pull until you have your knot. So now this knot is like a little bit, it looks like a little bit smaller than my last one, and that's okay. You don't need it to be like a giant knot unless you want a giant knot. Okay, and just making sure it all slides, and it does. Now on this one, I do really, really want these 2 silver pieces. I really want them on here. So we're gonna do our best to get them on there, okay? We're gonna try. I'm gonna cut this at a really sharp angle. And we're gonna try to get them on there. If it doesn't work, we're just going to tie a regular knot and be done with it. I'm feeling awfully stubborn though. I really want that to go through there. Yeah, it's just, they're not going to work. It's okay. I'm not going to be sad about it. Let's just tie a little knot to finish it. I'm not going to put any more Imperial Jasper on it. It's already like jaspered up. We're good to go. But just a little simple knot will be fine. Let's trim this down just a little bit. Okay, I think I finally got Cheeto out of here. He's such a mess. All right, so here's our bracelet. There's for our little knot. These are the sliders. And there we go. I'll put it on for you guys so you can see. Grab a hold of your slider, slide them down. And there we go. Now we have a really nice slider bracelet for our guys. All right, you guys, I hope you liked these. I hope they helped. I hope they were informative. They're actually really simple to do. If you need to, pause, rewatch, watch both of them. Maybe there's something that is in one of them that you caught in the other and not in the other. But if you have any questions, let me know. If you go to the description, I'll have some links for you, and I'll also have the measurements for what you need for your bracelets. All right, you guys, I'm sending you all my love, and I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. And remember, this is only video 1 of our intentional gift giving time. All right, guys, bye.